What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the game between the Optic Chicago and the Minnesota Rokkr for the Stage 2, Week 2 of the Call of Duty CDL League. Um, right now we're going to be discussing these two teams, but if you don't know what Draftkings is, it's basically a platform where you can go and basically bet money on esports and especially Call of Duty, and you can make money off of just watching the esports, and love from the comfort of your couch at home. So yeah, um, looking at these two teams that are going to be facing off today, we have the Optic Chicago against the Minnesota Rokkr, and I believe that these two teams are very good. I do believe that the Minnesota Rokkr benched one of their players this week. They benched Major Maniac, so a new player is going to be standing in. His name is Standy. Um, this team has been struggling a lot, Minnesota Rokkr, and for the most part, I really haven't targeted them in many matches, especially against teams like Optic Chicago. So I'm probably not going to do the same in this position. But I do want to mention that the Optic Chicago are minus 600 to win on the Bovada lines, and that's a pretty heavy favorite. The Minnesota Rokkr obviously are getting a new player that they deem to be a little better. Um, they're going to be a new look team, so we don't know how this team's going to look. We don't know if they're going to perform great or what. We don't know if they're going to win or not. So I wouldn't bet money necessarily on any of them right now. If I did have to bet money on either of these players, it would literally have to be Attach at 8,400 because I think Attach always brings value to the table. He's the one with the most upside in this team, and he's the one with the most comfortable I am with here. I wouldn't use him in the cap spot because in the captain spot he's at 12,600. It's pretty expensive in my opinion, relative to other players that you could get for a little cheaper or at his same price. At 8,400, he's a steal. Um, Standy, if you keep up with like the Call of Duty Challengers League, Standy is an amateur player. If you've seen him play and you believe that he can help this team beat the Optic Chicago, then he's at a good price at 6,400 at the flex position. I wouldn't use him in the cap position. And yeah, as for accuracy and Priesta, we just haven't seen them performing to the best of their ability, so I'm just going to be fading them entirely. I'm going to be fading the whole Minnesota team entirely. I just don't think they're gonna win. They do have the capacity to win more series, but I don't think it's going to be against Optic Chicago right now, especially right now that they're going to be having a new player. With that being said, on the Optic side, honestly, anybody here is a potentially good pick. I want to note that Formal has actually been he's actually been doing very good recently in all these matches. The lowest points he's scored per match was 93 points against Dallas, and that's fantasy points, and that's actually pretty good because he's been cheap consistently throughout the season so far. Now, his price has been getting a steady boost. In the last two games, he went from 7,000 to 8,000, and now he's at 8,800. Now, I don't know if Formal is on like a good streak or if he can actually, keep this up for the whole season where he's just being a straight beast and just like dropping no less than 90 points every single, match. Formal is a good player, and this is a very good game for him. So at 8,800, I think Formal is a very good price. If he's going to be keeping up what he's been doing for the past 5-6 games, he's going to be a beast. And at 8,800, I feel like at 8,800, Formal is a very good player. I don't have to say Dashy. Dashy is honestly always my favorite play on the Optic because he rarely ever drops less than 100 fantasy points, and just for that reason alone, I think that at 10,400 he is a very good player to build your lineups around, especially against like a team against Minnesota. You know, Dashy is going to be he's a quick player, so I really like him, and he can get picks across the map because he's usually on the AR. Um, Dashi, very good player. I really like his playstyle, and he's always posting 100 fantasy points consistently, so he's a pick in my book. As for Ombo and Scump, I feel like Scump is more likely adequately priced throughout the season. Um, his lowest is probably like 71 fantasy points. His highest was 110 fantasy points. Um, he's Scump is fairly inconsistent, but at 7,200, if you think that Optic is going to sweep the Minnesota Rokkr, Scump might actually be a good value. And if you think he's going to do good, you could put him in your cap spot at 10,800. He might return some value, and if the Optic Chicago sweep the Minnesota Rokkr, he's definitely going to get some points. Now, Minnesota's record is 3-5. Optic is 7-3. So they're very far apart in terms of record. An upset could happen, but it's very unlikely. Now that Minnesota has this slightly different team, and Chicago is as strong as they have ever looked. So, yeah, I truly believe Optic is going to win this game. Um, Envoy in my book is a good pick as well. I wouldn't use him in the cap because he's 14,400. I think that's a little too expensive, but he has been producing a lot recently in the past 5 games. So if you really like Envoy, 9,600 for him is a very good price and a price that I wouldn't mind paying. So yeah, with that being said, those were my opinions on this specific games. Picks and prices. The value of each play. So if you like it, leave a like, dislike, comment on how I could make the videos better and more watchable, I guess, for the audiences. With that being said, thanks for watching.